right, welcome back.
Yes, sir.
Another episode of Knicks Morning Coffee.
And I mean, Knicks draft Cade Cunningham #1.
Yeah, I wish we did.
Oh, we did?
Shit. All right, so
I thought we
wait, it's finally over. So that'd be a dream and a half too. All right, so y'all know it's been speculation for the past 2 months. What we've been trying to do is bring you information that was out there, trying to stay a little bit away from what, our what we wanted, and trying to think in the minds of what the Knicks might do. And
then speaking of what the Knicks might do, make sure you hit that like, comment,
ding,
and subscribe button. Please. I'm loving how y'all doing now. We gotta see more of that.
All right. So what we're gonna do today is we just want to talk about the draft today, just a little bit, and then what questions would have to be asked. So then the first question is, did the Knicks achieve their goal?
We don't know.
Right. See, that's the thing. Nobody knew, but see, it's funny. Last night,
I'm so lost with how we drafted just now.
You know what? When we talked on the phone about what it was still like in like the 12, 13 picks.
Yeah.
And you kept saying, I don't know who they're gonna draft. And what did I say? They probably drafted for somebody else. Mm-hmm. I said, I ain't heard it nowhere. I said, I just got a feeling because names are starting to come off the board.
Well, for the record, you did say we're gonna skip drafting and we're going straight into just with your free agency.
Yeah, but I didn't totally believe it because as we started getting closer to the draft, and you started seeing a lot of these players, and you look at how the Knicks played, and it's like, wow, okay, then there's some talent. This, because one thing is this: nobody was going to come into the Knicks. Short of the first 4 picks, nobody's going to come in and get 30 minutes a night, any shot they want. All right, you just wasn't going to do that. So you had to find situational players that fit what the Knicks did next year. And if anybody think the Knicks are not going to try to duplicate what they did next year, then there's something wrong. Because Thibodeau is not going to go backwards. He's going to try to build on what he had, and he's not going to let some young rookies do that to him. I mean, he already got to take the young ones he got, but he's not going to just now take them young ones and parlay them young ones with some other young ones and just throw it out there and see what happens. Yeah. Nah, he's going to try to build on what he got. And so they should, and so they should. So we knew they wasn't going to get a 30-point starter. So did we hit or miss before we get into who we got?
Nah, I ain't going to lie. After researching them, like right after we was picking them, we hit. But now even saying that we hit, I hope that first dude that we gave away is not that good. Because I looked him up too, and I was like, damn. Well, I think we traded him to Detroit, Orlando. He was like a forward. I said, I hope he ain't good. Because if he good, I'm going to be mad.
I mean, again, it all goes by fit. Whatever their master plan was going in, as players was coming off the board, then you had to look at who's available, who could help you right now, as far as 15 minutes a game, something like that, maybe even 20. So name just started chipping away. So when we're talking about McBride, so McBride was on their board, and I was not even surprised because I had circled, as it started getting closer, I had circled McBride and Trey Mann, and I said, wow. I said, oh my God, we're going to get one. They ended up getting McBride later, getting them later, so that saves them money where they could have drafted him.
I think the only thing that hurts McBride is he undersized, but he looked good to me too.
I mean, undersized, but after what Trey did, if you bringing something to the table, then that undersized don't mean nothing. And plus, teams go small anyway. Yeah. So that don't. He's a guy. He looks like a relentless guy that can push the ball, hit his own shot, get into the lane, and wreak some havoc on defense. So where his minutes time will come when you compare him to the foreign guy that we picked up. Should I even try to say his name? Ruckus, yeah.
Yeah, I listen, he said he looked like a Chris Paul. He looked like a Chris Paul. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's when you look him up, that's exactly what he looks like.
I mean, but I seen a little bit more of that to me in Miles. I seen a little bit more of
that Ruckus dude look like a foreign Chris Paul.
Well, you know they're not gonna keep 2 point guards.
Yeah, they not. Because I ain't gonna lie, that other guy now, that's what we should be talking about. I'm excited for him. His defense, he look like his defense is on 100.
Well, not just that, he's a scorer. He's a prime time. Quentin Grimes is a prime time player. And whatever his reasons for slipping, then
you know, I don't really know much. I just watch YouTube, and I forgot I should have wrote his name down because I like the way he does his videos. But I guess his weakness is he just can't get to the back. He's not real. He's like Reggie Bullock. I remember we were talking about that. I was like, he might be Reggie Bullock's replacement because Reggie Bullock wasn't really good at getting to the basket. That dude, his weakness is getting to the basket. But he can create his own shot. That's what I like.
Yeah, but I don't see. I don't think that's his. I don't think that's his weakness, getting to the basket, because he has those.
I'm going off YouTube.
He got those. Yeah, sometimes
they were showing like all his strengths, and they show all his weaknesses.
Listen, this
but
guy,
his strengths to me outweigh.
His weaknesses. But I don't think that's one. I don't think he's not a flash to the basket, but he has that herky jerky move dribble that gets you in. Sort of like he could be the combination of Bullock and Burke because he got a deadly touch. He don't got Burke's fire, but he does have that type of motor that he can get into where his spot and get his shot off. Yeah, because again, we're not drafting nobody outside the first 4 or 5 picks that's going to come in and do that anyway.
Yeah, when I seen him, I kind of thought about Jimmy Butler with a shot. That's exactly what I like. That further range, basically. Jimmy Butler, if Jimmy Butler had further range. Okay,
that's
exactly what I see.
And what that tell you about Jimmy Butler? Jimmy Butler, he find ways to get it. He's a crafty way to get to the basket. He don't just blow by nobody to the basket. He use all your stuff against you. And that's kind of what we talked about Quentin Grimes last week, you know, in our draft report. And to me, the Knicks are dead on. Now, of course, there's other players they could have got. But for where they got him, he would do the same for them for where they got him than if they was to bring in one of the other guys. Now I gotta admit, when Kispert started going down, I was like, I said, damn, we get this shooter. We get this shooter that can get his shot 20 minutes a game. You know, I said I was gonna be so happy, and names just started slipping because they was all available as the time went on. All them guys was seemed like they was gonna become available to us. So I didn't think at that point it was no way the Knicks could miss at that point. My thing was that I just started feeling that being that they didn't move up and some of them names were going to be coming, I just thought that they were probably going to, at that point, they were probably going to trade for somebody else.
See, I got a bigger NBA theory right now. Because it's not only about the Knicks. Because then when you ask everybody and you talk to everybody, they said this was a deep draft. Right? But this to me wasn't a big name draft. You know what I mean? You probably heard a couple of these names a couple of times in the rotation because of the media. But this to me wasn't like no Zion Williams and Anthony Davis. Like, it wasn't one of them kind of years. So my thing is, I think, and a lot of these players seem like they was like 2-year, 3-year players. A lot of them. Yeah. They were drafted towards the end and people actually won it. So you ain't see really a lot of trades like, this person going here. It looked like they was really trying to get these players.
Yeah, because there's a need. It was a deep draft because it was a draft of need. It's guys that skill, like you said, 2-3 year players, some 4, guys that paid their dues, guys that honed their craft. Yeah. Because everybody now, people are in win mode. People after what happened last year, seeing what the Knicks did, seeing what the Hawks did, seeing what some of those teams that came out of the ashes, out of nowhere did, teams are now feeling like we could win. That this could be us. So where can we improve at certain positions? Yeah, it might not be the starting positions because a lot of the starters that came in, a lot of them going to go to teams where they're going to get the ball right away. And even though they may struggle, because even Jalen Rose last night said to Cade Cunningham, even in the losing, the Detroit crowd going to stay with you. Because sometimes that's what it is. The best players usually go to the worst teams. So they're going to get their numbers. And it was nice for Trey. Trey turned his around quick. He turned his around real quick. Remember his first year, Hawks wasn't doing nothing. He was just putting up numbers, making all kind of mistakes. But look what happened this year. Same thing with John Morant. John Morant, first year, did a lot of damage. Second year, team got a little bit better. Teams can move up. So now you can move up real quick just by plugging needs. And that's what teams seem to have been doing last night. And last night, Right now I'm not giving us a or B. I'm just saying last night we got a need. So now my next question is.
So are we 5 for 5?
No, I ain't saying we 5. Yeah, we ain't can say that yet because because we know something else is brewing. But my next question is: did we satisfy Tibbs' needs?
I think with that first pick, yeah.
Yeah, I think with the first, and I think with McBride.
I like McBride, but I know everybody not staying. So I know Quentin Grimes look like he's staying.
Well, yeah. He's
so
staying.
out of McBride and that foreign dude.
So I see McBride.
I like McBride, right? And I loved him when I watched him. And then this morning I looked at the foreign dude and I was like, damn, I like him too.
But see, McBride was on one of their pre-draft things. He was on one of their mock drafts. And yesterday I started feeling good about him.
Yeah, but it seems like the Knicks don't like undersized players like that. Because look, we like the 2 dudes that we have on the bench. One that we said looked like Marlowe, and the other guy that we don't want to get rid of because he keeps them around. Yeah. Those 2, I forgot. I forget their names. But yeah. We got those 2 guys. They don't get no playing time. 2 guards. It don't seem like we like.
Yeah, but they don't get after it defensively either, the way McBride do, and he's electric. I don't know. I just started feeling good about him yesterday, so I said if we were to land him.
I told you we got that foreign dude that we just drafted. I mean, not drafted, but we just picked up.
Fedoza.
So
yeah,
we could say we have no guards, but damn, somebody not staying.
Somebody not staying, and we got to get a lead guard. And then we don't even know what else going to be.
We don't know if Derrick Rose
transpiring.
Bring him back.
Well, free agency is next week, so that's gonna be a problem. But again, whatever the plan is, remember we kept saying something's brewing. You know, we don't know what it is, and I remember last week I talked about with Leon Rose and Worldwide West. Are they drafting for the New York Knicks? Or are they making moves for their future, for them? Because they know the window to stay there is not long. So that was just interesting to me that if Tibbs, there was somebody else Tibbs wanted, but Tibbs liked this guy. He liked Grimes. You know, he liked that gritty play that he brings. So in Tibbs' case, because you don't want to go out and try to get somebody that's going to get primetime minutes that Tibbs don't want. And Tibbs was on the general manager side. He was on the president's side and the coach side at the same time. So he knows how he got to give management something that they want, which means it could be, you know, sticking with IQ and RJ. And then he also knows that give me stuff that I want, you know, so I can get what I want. And this is the type of player that he probably feels he could throw in there and he's not going to skip a beat. You know, and especially if the guy's coming with a pretty decent IQ. Because now, man, he was a high recruit going to Kansas. So he's not a no name to people, and he's not a no name to the industry. People know who this guy is. Like, people know who Quentin Grimes is. And the same thing with his peers. If you're a number 1 pick, supposed to be, you know, heading to Kansas, coming out of high school, all your peers know who you are. They know you're a baller. So that question for me, as far as with the coach got to be happy. Because you can't keep bringing young guys that he don't need. Now, the other thing is, question for me is, did we get better today? You know, did the Knicks get better today before free agency?
I mean, they kind of did what I said they needed to do. Because all these guys are shooters. And they all guards. And they all got defense. All of them, even the foreign dude, they all have defense. So we was missing a guard. He's missing, so we checked all those boxes. Yeah,
so technically we got better. Because we got a better player. If you only just count Grimes, we got a better player. But then the big man, Jericho Sims, 6'10" guy, out of Texas. Now, I didn't really know think about him at all. But what they're saying is that he's a shot blocker. He's a vertical leaper. Supposed to have the second highest vertical leap in compound history. I don't know what that say for a big guy because Obi did that. That don't always translate into something on the court. But he's a helper shot blocker. So if somebody gets beat, he can get back there and block a shot. Now again, where do you put these type of guys? So yeah, we might have gotten better in certain things with need, but then now that translates over onto the side of when free agency starts next week with these guys. No matter who you bring in free agency, Quentin Grimes could still stick. Like he has that ability that he can still stick on your team. So let's look at who we got under contract, which is not many. We got Randall, Barrett, Toppin, Knox, who people feel may or may not be there, IQ, Mitch, Norvin Pell, and Luka Fidoza. Now, as far as the other guys, the glue guys that really helped make that possible last year was Rose, Gibson, and Nerlens Noel. So the Knicks, they got work to do.
Yeah, Burks.
Yeah, but Burks. For some reason, Burks. Of course, do we get there without Burke? Probably in some cases, you can make a case that we don't. But every year for the past 3-4 years, they brought in a Burke. If you think back, every year, some reason they find that journeyman scorer around that 6'5", 6'6", and it wouldn't kill you to have none of them back. But I'm thinking about your meat and potatoes guys, like Gibson. Do you want to give up on that kind of heart and soul? And they still can bring him back.
Well,
anyway.
Really, I would bring Gibson back.
Yeah.
Gibson, even in the playoffs. I hope big men set up. I ain't going to lie. If we had Mitch, that was, to me, flawless. Like, you couldn't ask for more. Who had more than what we had anyway in the big man category?
Yeah, we just didn't get
killed a little bit on rebounds.
Well, we didn't get point. Well, again, we could have had more. There's times that when we had to go with Randall and Gibson against some of them bigger teams, and then they just playing volleyball, getting the ball off the rim. But see, that's where Mitch and Nerlens come in together, because now you always got that big guy out there protecting the board.
And Nerlens, you'll be like, we don't know if we losing him, so.
Well,
I think Gibson got to come back.
Yeah, Gibson definitely got to come back because he's a glue kind of guy.
Yeah, Gibson got to come back.
Well, Gibson or Bullock to me got to come back.
Yeah, I was gonna say Bullock or Burks.
Yeah, I meant Burke. Gibson got to come back, and then Burke or Bullock. In this case, I prefer Bullock because I think the Knicks are gonna find in free agency. I think they're gonna find a star type player that can get 20. Because really Burke and Rose supplemented the role of a second scorer for us. So if one didn't have it going, the other one had it going. So now free agency, you're supposed to bring in that guy. Because Randall, we see, he's probably going to duplicate his time during the season, but you got to have that other star type. I'm not saying you're going to go out and get, but you got to think about the Dinwiddies and the DeRozans and you have to, because you can't be a lame duck heading into the playoffs because you don't know what RJ is going to give you in terms of that next step. He'll get better. IQ will get better. But what are they going to give you in that next step? So I just think that this draft, as it looks right now, and stuff still ain't over. Deals still going to probably be made. Knicks got a lot of picks in the next few years. We up in that 20 range. So we don't need all them picks if you're trying to be a contender. So I just think with the free agency, I'm looking at if you can't pry. Because how did the Lakers pry Westbrook? If you can't pry as a GM players away from other teams, because see that's your job. Your job is not just to manage the cap. The owner's going to get their money, but you got to be able to be shrewd enough to get players, get other teams to deal you something. Because why would somebody want to deal Westbrook to the Lakers and make the Lakers a contender? Even more of a contender. Which is what they are, regardless of how the pieces fit right now don't fit. They'll fit in the end, because his legs are still like young legs. So I just think that this was a decent draft for us. I like Grimes. I think trying to get into the mind of Leon Rose. I think his plan is coming into shade because you don't send out your 2 picks pretty much back to back. 19 and 21 without a major plan in place
because
you could have got Grimes at there, and all you got for that was a future first round pick, for the one you sent out at 19. So
nobody stole a pick this year neither. Nobody was like, oh, I thought he was going to be there.
Well, there's some people that went earlier. If you look at all the mock drafts. It's people that went early that was projected to go in the teens that went around the 10s and things like that. So, I seen some things I thought were surprises. Nothing major because the top people went, not necessarily where they was going to go because it was a foreign guy thrown in there. that went early that should have went a few picks back. But again, teams draft for need. And then you don't know how people scout other people.
Damn, did anybody draft that foreign dude that was like a Porzingis kind of player? Did he get drafted?
Which one? I know one of them went early. We
talked about, and I was like, damn.
That's probably the one that went early.
I said, I don't think somebody should pass that up.
Nah, I think if that's the one we're talking about, he went like 4 or 5 or 6. He went early.
Yeah,
he went early.
Was he from Lithuania too?
I don't remember where he was from. But yeah, anyway, this thing shapes out to be, what it shapes out to me like when you're thinking about with the free agency next week. It's almost like you waiting for this big shoe to drop for the Knicks, right? And where Leon Rose thinking is, and I think now it might be online, because when you make that bold move and say a guy you could have got anyway and say, okay, I'm gonna trade these 2 picks out of nowhere, that means you on the phone with people as we speak.
Well, he got to do something.
Finalizing the deal. It's there. Trust me. Trust me.
He's going to have to do something because whether he think about his career or not, whatever he doing in the Knicks will make or break it. So if you think if the media on your side right now, if you don't do nothing in free agency, media is going to attack you.
But guys like that guys like him got 9 lives. They know how to survive in this environment. So they can bomb with us and walk out that door. And they're gonna be just fine. Yeah, them guys, man.
Because Stephen A's gonna be like, and now I love you, Leon. But watch,
Stephen A flip flop so much.
I bet you Stephen A hate these picks.
So who in free agency are we getting? And then what I said last night also, who in those top picks, that they really targeted. Somebody in them top picks may be coming our way.
Well, I just seen a rumor.
Oh, let this marinate for a minute. Yeah. Somebody in those first picks, somebody in that top 10 could still be headed to the Knicks.
You think so?
Because I just say it's just a funky way that they did this draft. That it's just something, something is stirring in the pot, and I would not be surprised.
You think Golden State hate it? I think they hate it.
Well, they got us before with Steph Curry, so they got a history of beating us down.
Because I'm starting to not like Golden State.
They got a history of beating us down, but again, I think they got rid of one of their players.
They ain't even need all their picks.
Yeah, well, they got them picks them picks ain't staying. Them picks ain't hardly staying.
That's what I'm saying. So why they do that to us? That's how they gonna do.
Listen,
they better hope Steph Curry don't get mad and come to the Knicks.
Listen, we gonna be good. We gonna be. Cause we got a roster to fill. All them young guys do for us right now too is you don't have to pay them a lot of money. So you gotta be able to fill your roster. And if you fill your roster with guys that do have some need in case of injury, then you just not stuck there. And then they seem to be older players. So something's stirring in the pot. I'm telling y'all right now, don't be surprised if one of those high draft picks make their way to New York.
Don't talk to me like that.
Hey, listen.
I'm over here cheesing. Don't
hold me to the fire. But just that sometimes when you get that cut, it won't be him.
Who that dude that look like?
That won't be him.
Like he's from the West. Well, he is from the West Coast, but he looked like he's from the West Coast for real. I think he was like number 2.
Yeah.
After K Cunningham, he had the big fro.
Yeah.
But so I had to tell you this rumor because it was fresh on my mind. I forgot. It was something about a trade with the Lakers, and now it kind of make more sense. I seen it briefly about Knicks getting Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, I seen that, but I didn't.
Like I said, with people like that, I won't be mad if you're gonna get DeRozan because I feel like DeRozan with Randall and a veteran guard like that. If we can't bring back D-Rose, then I like it, especially with that new pick because I like that pick because, like you said, he fit anyway.
Yeah,
but I'm still excited for the Knicks. I feel like. As long as we bring back something that we had, as long as we bring back our core, and we don't lose nobody, then I'm looking at Leon Rose like, all right, now you.
Because we wasn't that far away. Like somebody said last night, the Knicks are 2-3 years away from contending. Stop. We were a couple shooters away from contending. We were regular, consistent shooting away last year. Like I don't understand people's thinking. I really, especially when you see the teams that win, when they're not even on your radar to win championship, and then they win the championship. So,
and let's be honest, if Randall played like he played all season long, he get those rebounds and he scored at 10 more points, we win.
But remember that also threw off the other Randall's game threw off the other shooters. Like Bullock could never get going. Derek, instead of just being a facilitator and a scorer, had to only be a scorer. Burke had the 4 shots. Quickly couldn't quite get his shot going because the whole flow was off. Whoa. So if we had just played our regular game, that was enough. But Randall, we have to give Randall another 20-point star type player.
Matter of fact, Randall's only problem was, if we take a page out of Blake Griffin book and go train with Melo, he wouldn't have this problem last year.
Well, we'll see.
The dumb post moves he was doing was trash. Melo got to fix that. Melo put the wine down.
Melo ain't helping New York.
And help Randall.
He ain't helping New York.
He got to help New York, man. You know we love Melo over here.
He said, nah. He said, what's in your glass? Nah.
Gatorade.
All right, so there's more to come, the draft. I'm not even going to grade it yet. I'll grade it when I see who we get in free agency. And whatever y'all think, let us hear it. But there's more to come, and I'm going to say it again. And don't hold me to the fire. Don't be surprised if one of them top picks make their way to New York.
You got me over here like, yeah.
All right, let me say it again. All right, so just remember to like, comment, subscribe. I think the draft for all the teams pretty much was a success. Everybody got something that they needed. A lot of guys, heard of or unheard of, made their way to the NBA last night, and that was just a nice thing. And that just goes to show, that this whole system works. The NBA after LeBron and KD, the NBA is going to be in good hands. These young guys can ball. All right, so remember to like, comment, subscribe, and look for us in the future by hitting that notification bell. Peace.